The leaders Middlesbrough kept up the pace at Huddersfield. Likewise, second place Nottingham Forest, who sparkled against Swindon. Just beneath them are Alan Kirbishley's informed Charlton and Nigel Spackman's Sheffield United, who haven't lost at home since March. Bramall Lane's the place to be today.
Mendonca's turned well! Charlton's goal-scoring machine.
Alan Kirbishley's men arrive in South Yorkshire as the league's leading scorers, 45 so far in 24 games and 5 wins for them in their last 6 outings. So they should be pretty confident, and their main man is that man, Clive Mendonka, a former Sheffield United player. 13 goals so far for him this season. It's a windy day in Sheffield. How will that affect the two sides, I wonder? Bramall Lane was the venue for our opening game of the season. Sunderland were beaten 2-0 that day, and our last live nationwide game of the year sees the Blades take on the Addicts. It's 3rd against 4th and a Christmas 6-pointer. Good afternoon. We couldn't ask for a much better game to end what's been a memorable 1997 in the nationwide leagues. Later in the programme we'll look back at some of the highlights and we'll be picking our player and goal of the year. But for now it's all about the race for the Premiership in 1998. And this afternoon the two teams just outside the automatic promotion places come face to face. Sheffield United with just 3 defeats all season against the Charlton side, who without doubt are playing the best football of their season right now. My guest today is Brian Horton, whose former team Huddersfield were the last side to beat Sheffield United at Bramall Lane way back in March. Brian, what is the secret formula for success in Sheffield?
Well, we played particularly well that day, but I think that's what Alan Kirbishley's got to get into his side today to have a go at Sheffield United. They've got a lot of injuries and key players out, and I think it's a game that they'll be looking to win. Yes,
their defence in particular is in trouble this afternoon for Sheffield United's defence, isn't it?
Well, it looks like McGrath being out, Holsworth, his whole Carl Tyler, Quinn's out, so he's having to reshape his side, and I read in the paper he's down to his bare bones, so he's having a hard time with injuries.
And what about Charlton? 5 wins in 6 games, scoring so many goals. Are you surprised that they're doing so well?
No, they've been thereabouts for the last few years. I think he's got a settled side, he knows what formation he's going to play, he keeps to it. He's done a fantastic job. I read in the paper it's his 350th game today, and they've had stability within the club, and I think they're getting the just rewards for it. With £2 million, sat on the bench for a large part of the season, but now he's got in and looking a very good player.
Here's Charlton, and Mark Kinsella will be hoping to do that again this afternoon. What a finish against Norwich.
He has a good little midfield player from Colchester, and he's got good ability. Gets forward from midfield, and this is a great run from Robinson. Unfortunately, Scott gives it him back there, and he sticks it away brilliantly.
Yes, given a little bit of help by the defender on that occasion, but Charlton have won 6 in a row at the Valley. It isn't a place anyone wants to go these days. Norwich were unbeaten in 4 going into it, and they had a chance to come back into the match 9 minutes from time. Penalty there, Rufus on O'Neill.
I don't think they can argue with the penalty, and Bellamy, who apparently they've turned £1 million offer down from Crystal Palace for him. He looks a very talented player.
He does, but it wasn't enough to give Norwich anything. Now Stoke and Sheffield. And as a result of those weekend fixtures, Bury are bottom of the pile, but look how tight it is down there. Bury, Huddersfield, Tranmere and Portsmouth all on 23 points. Then Manchester City and Crewe with 24. Port Vale and Oxford 26. Ipswich down to 16th with 27. Reading and Stoke both with 28. And Norwich stay 13th with 30 points from 24 played. QPR stay in the top half despite that defeat at Portsmouth. Bradford down to 11th, Birmingham up to 10th, Swindon are dipping, they're 9th now, Stockport still looking good in 8th, Wolves just outside the playoffs at the moment, West Brom slip another place to 6th, Sunderland up to 5th on the back of 13 unbeaten games and 5 successive wins. Sheffield United 4th at the moment. They'll go above Charlton if they win today, but the top 2 are 4 points clear at this stage. And here are the fixtures today. Brian, if you just cast your eye over some of those. Manchester City at home to Nottingham Forest, the sort of game City might just go and win.
Well, that's the way they've been going at home, and I mean, it'll be a packed house again. Notts Forest, who I think are obviously one of the best sides, hence their position. And Man City capable of beating anybody in the day, but also capable of losing to anybody on the day. So a crucial game for both, really.
Big game for Bury, who we've seen on the bottom playing Crewe.
Bury have got a great defensive record. They need to start scoring goals. He's had lots of injury problems, Stanton, and Crewe, that's a great win for them the other day against Man City. Again, a crucial game for both, that probably a point for each is no good.
And you were mentioning Stockport's poor away record. If they're to be regarded as serious contenders, then perhaps they have to go to Middlesbrough today and get something.
Well, I mean, if they could go and get something at Middlesbrough today, that would be a fantastic result for them. But Gary Mexon's picked the side up so well, and you know, everybody fancies him for relegation, and he's done a fantastic job. And if he could get a few wins away from home to go with their tremendous home record, who knows what might happen.
All of those games kicking off at 3 o'clock, except Port Vale against Wolves, and we'll keep you up to date with that game as we concentrate on our live match at Bramall Lane. 2 matches have been... Well, a little under half an hour to go until kick-off in our live game at Bramall Lane. It's Sheffield United at home to Charlton, and we can now hear from some of the travelling Charlton supporters.
I'm not really that surprised at all. I mean, we've booked well this season. I mean, start of the season, Clive Mendonka was a good buy, Matty Holmes was a good buy, and doing all right this season. I think we'll go up.
I've been playing good football, and since I got Mendonca, it's made all the difference, and they're on a good run.
We played all the top sides away from home. We've got all to play at home, really. Sheffield United, we played them at home, but we've still got the Middlesbroughs, the Nottingham Forests and the Sunderland still to play at home.
The fact that we have now, after today's game, would have played the top 6 teams away from home, then I think, yeah, sure, we've got a good chance.
They have every reason to be confident after their recent run of form. There is Deane, who is looking to ruin their day. He definitely plays for Sheffield United, one of the few players in their side who isn't injured. Gareth Taylor is another who's up for it. It'll be Deane and Taylor up front. Graham Stuart and Jan Arge Fjortoft have to make do with a place on the bench. All the team news in a moment. Live American football coming up tonight over on Sky Sports 1. This week the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Detroit Lions. Live NFL, 9 o'clock tonight, Sky Sports 1. Here on Sky Sports 2, we are less than 25 minutes away from kick-off. Sheffield United against Charlton at the top of Nationwide Division 1. The odds, United 5-4 on. Remember, they haven't lost at home since March. That's a run of 15 games. Charlton 13-5. Don't forget, they haven't won at Bramall Lane for 40 years. The draw 5-2. Brian Deane, as has so often been the case in the past, is favourite to open the scoring at 5-1. Then Clive Mendonka, 7-1 for him and Deane Saunders. Carl Leaburn is 9-1, and Basilis Borbokis, who was such a star on the opening day of the season when we saw Sheffield United against Sunderland, well, he's 14-1 to add to his collection. And a little further down the list, you might fancy Phil Chapple at 40-1, or perhaps Roger Nilsen, 66-1. Hasn't got a great scoring record, as you've probably guessed by those odds. All the team news now from Alan Bentley.
Thanks a lot, Marcus. Let me tell you straight away that Charlton have the relative luxury of being able to name an unchanged side from last Friday, while Sheffield United one change. Don Hutchison coming in for Graham Stuart, who drops to the bench. Let's have a look at the sides in a bit more detail for you, starting with Sheffield United. And only 3 of these players, would you believe, started the first game of the season. That's Borbokis, Marker and Deane. And Marker is the only ever present in the league. In goal, it's Alan Kelly these days. Simon Tracy has an ankle problem. David Lee, he played with Nigel Spackman at Chelsea. He's in on a month's loan due to those defensive problems. And Curtis Woodhouse is a hugely promising 17-year-old. In midfield, we've got Bobby Ford, signed from Oxford. Deane Saunders, he's a free signing from Nottingham Forest, of course. Nicky Marker will play at the back, we understand. And up front, preferred to Jan Arge Fjortoft, is Gareth Taylor. Brian Deane got that late equaliser against Stoke. Fjortoft, 148 league goals for him. Peter Katchouro got 2 against Charlton last season in the league at Bramall Lane. And Graham Stuart, as we said, those 3 on the bench. Shifting across then to Charlton Athletic, as I said, an unchanged lineup from the side which beat Norwich. Mike Salmon preferred to Pettersson in goal. Keith Jones has recovered from a bout of concussion. He's okay. Richard Rufus yet to score a senior goal for Charlton. Kinsella and Robinson both have a presence. They both scored against Norwich. Clive Mendonka once off Sheffield United. He's got 13 league goals this season. And Carl Leaburn will accompany him up front. Steve Jones, I should say, has gone to Bournemouth. And on the bench, alongside the hugely experienced Mark Bright, the youthful promise of 17-year-old Scott Parker. Back to you, Marcus.
Thank you, Alan. No surprise that Charlton are unchanged. Graham Stuart dropping to the bench is a little bit unusual, perhaps. Brian, what do you make of that alteration?
Well, I think he's trying to stick to his sweeper system as much as he can. I mean, there's been a huge turnaround of players, which is unusual sometimes when you're right at the top of the league. You know, he's bought and sold as it's gone on, and unfortunately he's lost a couple of key defenders in McGrath and Holsworth.
Well, up front there is no shortage of riches for Sheffield United. Their substitutes bench proves that today. Katchouro and Fjortoft having to make do with that. Brian Deane, automatic first choice though.
Yeah, he made a huge decision in the summer. It looked like he might go abroad. He was always going to leave Leeds, and he made the decision to go back to Sheffield United, where he made his name first time round. Good target man, and he gets goals with his head, and he's better with his feet than a lot of people give him credit for.
It can be a risky thing going back, can't it? But it seems to be working out for him.
I think the fans loved him there first time round, and he's so big and strong. He's an awkward player to play against, and as I said, I think he's got more skill than people give him credit for, and his finishing is as good as anybody's.
Well, he was popular enough at Leeds, even if he didn't score perhaps as many goals as he'd have liked. Twice voted Player of the Year by the fans, and I should think he's probably well on the way to becoming Player of the Year again at Sheffield United. Now, Deane Saunders arrived recently from Nottingham Forest. Didn't seem very happy at Forest earlier this season, did he?
No, it's not like him, because he's a chirpy character. He's great to have in the dressing room. 33, he's seen it all before. He's been an international player, and for a free transfer, I think that's a good signing for Sheffield United. He's always capable of getting a spectacular goal. He's bright and breezy, as I've said before, and I think he'll be a useful acquisition as the season goes on.
What about his age? Jurgen Klinsmann's in the headlines. He's 33 at the moment. Is 33 past it these days? It isn't really, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, he's got no weight at all. He's a lively player, and as I said, he gets spectacular goals. Unfortunately, he got one here against me, which probably cost me my job.
I'm sorry we have to make you sit through that again.
But as I said, he's a great character to have around, and he'll always get goals, Deane Saunders, and he gets a bit of a break there, slight deflection, but he'll hit shots from everywhere.
That was his first and so far only goal for Sheffield United, and there is Clive Mendonka, 13 league goals so far for Charlton following his summer move from Grimsby. Had a brief period at Sheffield United back in 1991, didn't quite make the grade, played something like 10 games and scored only 1 goal, but he's been prolific lower down the leagues, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was quite young there, and player that I've always liked, and he had a niggly injury at Grimsby when he was doing very, very well, and I'm surprised really that someone higher up's never taken a chance with him. Again, he's got a great eye for goal, good touch, not a big player by any means, but it's all about touch with him, and he's got the knack of being in the right place, takes the penalties, a very confident player, and he always seems to be in the right place, and he's so confident, and well, that's a great little thing.
And presumably he'll feel he has something extra to prove at Bramall Lane today.
Well, it's always nice. Sometimes that doesn't always help you when you're going back to try and prove too much. You know, sometimes try too hard, but a very, very good goal scorer.
Well, he seems to like playing against Sheffield United, because earlier this month Charlton were at home to United, and this is what happened. They won 2-1 and Mendonca scored twice.
And this is exactly what he's all about. You know, he would have liked those 2 goals. I mean, the penalty, that can happen, but he sticks it in great. He's so confident.
Well, that was after 44 minutes. We've already said that Charlton is such a hard place for sides to go and visit. Sheffield United gave them a pretty tough 90 minutes, but they were knocked out by this second effort just 14 minutes from time. The little strike too much for the goalkeeper, and Nicky Marker did pull one back in the very last minute for United, but it was too little too late. Well, we can now hear from Sheffield United's manager, Nigel Spackman.
Nigel, one of the papers today says, who can stop Borough, who can stop Forest? How confident are you that you can?
Well, I think the big three who came down from last season are showing their form at the moment. I think Sunderland have come with a very good run. Charlton are on a very good run as well. We've got to stick in there ourselves and try and hang on to their coattails and, you know, come May, hopefully be in there with a shout.
Given all the injuries you've got at the moment, is it a struggle to be consistent?
Oh, it's very difficult. I mean, I think last week we had 13 players that I couldn't choose from, but every other team has injuries. We've just got to get on with what we've got, and that's what we're trying to do in the last few games. We've just been trying to put out a team that goes out and tries to win a game, but unfortunately we've not been winning enough. We've drawn a few, and most probably on Friday against Stoke we were very fortunate to get a draw. But you just get on with the players you've got and try and put out a team that's going to win a game, and that's what we've done again today.
Speaking of which, Don Hutchison plays. What was the thinking there?
Well, with Don, I mean, Don's been in and out the side, as everybody knows, but I just felt today, hopefully at home, Don will get on the ball and give us something a little bit extra with his passing ability. But, you know, overall, it's not just down to one man, it's down to the whole team. Alan Kelly's been playing extremely well in goal as well, but our back five has changed so much in recent weeks. It's not the same back five, any of them, except for Vass today, who was unavailable last week, to what we started the season with.
Now, Jan Åge Fjortoft also on the bench. It seems whenever he doesn't play, there's speculation about his future. What is the situation?
Well, I've got so many strikers here, there's speculation all the time. If Gareth Taylor doesn't play, there's speculation about him leaving. If Brian Deane didn't play, there'd be speculation about him. So that's just part and parcel of football. And you know, you read papers, you watch it on the television, there's always speculation about all players. And obviously Jan has done a great job here, scored plenty of goals. But at the moment, Gareth's playing and he's not. So I'm sure Jan will stay and fight for a place.
And quickly, you lost to Charlton earlier in the month. Will that count for anything?
I don't think it account for anything. I think on the day we played very poorly. They deserved to win the match, and today we've got a chance to put that right. But it's going to be a very, very tough game for us. But hopefully with home advantage, we'll give them a better game than we did at Charlton.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, only 3 wins in their last 11 games, but as Nigel said then, they haven't been losing many. We just saw that defeat at Charlton, which actually followed on the heels of a defeat against Norwich. Then they were at home to Swindon, December the 13th. This was a big game for them, Brian, and it began badly when Steve Finney put Swindon in front.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get promotion, you have to have a really good home record, and they've done well to win this game. As you said, this was a big game for them, and they've come back and beat a goal down, which is also a good sign when you go for promotion, that you're capable of doing that. And in the end, I can't remember who gets the winner here, Mark.
Saunders does with his first goal. That was David Holdsworth with the equaliser, and then Saunders with the aid, we have to say, of a slight deflection.
Yeah, it's a good little knockback, and again, like I said earlier on, he will hit shots from anywhere. He doesn't worry about missing. Okay, he's got a slight deflection to win the game, but big 3 points for him on that day.
So many draws though, and here was another of them at Bury. They went behind to a quite bizarre looping header from Lenny John Rose.
That's a great header, yes. I've seen it before. Tremendous header. But again, you know, they keep going, Sheffield United. They've got a strong side, and they keep battling away, and in the end they got the just rewards again.
Brian Deane with a slightly unusual finish.
Well, he gets goals for a big man. You know, we've talked about his ability, and he's quite capable of doing that.
Well, here's the graph. They've never actually been top of the table. They've usually had games in hand, but second on a couple of occasions, fourth at the moment. A win today will lift them up to third. 24 games played, just 3 defeats, none of them at Bramall Lane. Scored 36 and they've conceded 24 at an average of 1 a game. Brian Deane leads the way with 11 from Mr. Fjortoft, who's on the bench today. Dane Whitehouse was playing so well before picking up a nasty injury that's going to keep him out for a long time, sadly. Gareth Taylor, Vasilis, Borbokis and David Holdsworth, their other main contributors. Well, what about Charlton Athletic? 5 wins in their last 6 games, and everyone who's played them recently have agreed they're a very, very hard team to beat. Port Vale went to the Valley on December the 13th, battled for 90 minutes, but Sean Newton, with a deflection, scored the only goal. They are just about invincible at home. Their problem has been away from home, but they've started to address that recently. They went to Fratton Park and got an important win, and their away form has definitely upturned recently, Brian.
It has picked up. They won Huddersfield 3-0. They had another good win here. I mean, Leaburn's come in and done a great job for them. He was out the side earlier on this season, and they've got so many strikers. They've loaned Jones out, they've loaned Elmblom out, Bright on the bench, and and Leaburn come in and started scoring goals. He's a big handful, and they have improved their away record.
And they followed up that win with a victory against Norwich on Boxing Day, and the graph has been moving in the right direction. They'll stay third if they win today, but they could cut the gap on Middlesbrough and Nottingham Forest to just 1 point. 24 matches played, leading scorers in the division with 45 goals. They've let in 30. They are, apart from Sunderland, the team of the moment. Mendonca has to be stopped. Without him, perhaps they might have struggled a little in front of goal, but Robinson, Chapple, Jones, Kinsella and Leaburn have all weighed in at useful times. We can now hear from the manager, Alan Kirbishley.
Alan, with Forest and Borough flying, how important is it for you to keep the momentum going?
Oh, well, I think that really what's happened in the last couple of weeks is that the top 4 or 5 sides have all been winning. And there's no respite, really. And we came off of the game against Norwich with one, but Nottingham Forest have won, Middlesbrough have won, Sunderland have won, Sheffield United have picked a point up. And it just seems this year, perhaps a little bit different from the previous seasons, that the league has perhaps opened up a bit, and normally there's a far greater spread of points. So I think it's going to be a question of digging in and staying in there.
Now, you've won your last 4. What's pleased you most about that period?
I think obviously we're the top goal scorers in the league, and we're up to 45 now, but we've perhaps stemmed the goals the other way, and I think we've only let 3 or 4 goals in, and a couple of them have been penalties. And in general, we've tightened up a little bit at the back, maybe the kiss of death today, but we've tightened up a bit at the back, and like normal, we look like we can score.
Now, you played against Sheffield United in that run. What did you learn about them that day?
I think that they may have been a little bit disappointed with the performance at the Valley, but there was a hard side to play against, big and strong, perhaps a little bit direct in certain areas. And what we learnt is if you don't compete with them, then you're not going to be around for when it counts. And certainly that's what we've got to do today. The conditions wet and windy, and you know, certainly we're going to have to make sure that we're there to be counted.
Thanks a lot, Alan.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, he's doing a great job in South London, but Brian, how relevant do you think that win against United earlier in the month will be?
It's always nice to beat a side like that and play them again very quickly, but he said it's windy up there. They've got a big strong side, Sheffield United. I think it's going to be a tough game for them today.
We've talked about United's defensive problems, but up front they have got an embarrassment of riches, haven't they?
They have to leave Couturo and Fjortoft on the bench. I mean, that's a great luxury to have anyway. But Taylor's come in the side and scored goals, Deane, Saunders. I think it's going to be some goals in this game today.
And what about this record of Charlton's at Bramall Lane? They've not won there for 40 years. Do teams think about that before matches?
I don't think you think about it, but obviously there's something there. I think if managers had an answer for that, we'd all be millionaires. But I don't think it augurs well for them today. I certainly fancy Sheffield United to win the game.
Well, I have to say that our last 2 guests have not only predicted the correct winners, but the actual scoreline. So you're going to have to emulate that, I'm afraid, Brian, today. Well, and I have to also remind you that your record this season on Sky hasn't been terribly impressive up to now.
Thank you very much, Marcus. No, so I'm going to go for a high-scoring game. I'm going to go for about 3-2 today, then.
3-2 to Sheffield United. We'll look forward to that with interest at the end of 90 minutes. Let's join our commentators, Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
I think you fancy a high score as well, don't you, Alan?
I do actually, but I just think maybe it could be a draw. I think Sheffield United have been stumbling along of late, and Charlton might just expose them.
Well, Nottingham Forest and Middlesbrough will be hoping to pull clear in the new year, but what about the potential staying power of these 2 teams just slotted in behind them?
Of the 2 sides to stay, I think Charlton could be the problem, man. It's going to be interesting today away from home again. Charlton do score a lot of goals, but they concede a lot away from home. I think the Valley's a different proposition, and they should keep that going. They can stay the course, but if their home form against the falter, maybe not. Whereas Sheffield United, when they've all their players back fully fit, I think they're a strong outfit. I definitely put them in the playoffs.
As for the rest of the teams today, it's been a quick turnaround for both these sides after their Boxing Day fixtures, and Sheffield United show 1 change from the team that drew at Stoke, with Don Hutchison in for Graham Stuart in a straight swap. Really, United had little option with long-standing injuries to McGrath, Holdsworth and Quinn, and with Mitch Ward and Carl Tyler having been sold, it's a relief that David Lee is here on loan from Chelsea to cover at the back. Meanwhile, Nicky Marker has gone to the back from his preferred holding midfield role. Deane Saunders, who started his Bramall Lane career playing wide, has more recently slotted in behind the front 2, where the preferred partner for Brian Deane now is Gareth Taylor, who continues to attract attention from the Dutch club Utrecht.
Yeah, Nigel Stackman, Kelly in goals when in sparkling form. 3 at the back. Dave Lee on loan from Chelsea. Marker, very, very consistent, very, very steady. And Roger Nilsen. Borbokis giving flair down the right hand side, excellent player, 2 good feet. On the left hand side, the 17-year-old Woodhouse loves to go forward, attacks. I wonder how he's going to fare against Sean Newton, if Sean Newton can get at the youngster today. The 2 central midfield players, Hutchison and Bobby Ford, and then up front, Taylor and Deane, 2 target men, and Saunders is the man who could cause all the problems. Just in behind them, looking for balls in here. Very tricky little player, loves the ball to feet, whereas Taylor and Deane are very, very good target players.
Charlton midfielder Keith Jones has overcome concussion, and Richard Rufus escaped serious injury but was very angry after a challenge by Keith O'Neill in the Boxing Day win over Norwich. Matt Holmes is still out with a recurrence of a knee injury, so Sean Newton continues to replace him, and the only change from Friday is on the bench, where England youth international Scott Parker could be in contention for his second appearance for the club, and Mark Bright is also included. 8 members of this side have already scored this season. The exceptions, Salmon the goalkeeper obviously, and Mark Bowen and Richard Rufus, who've yet to score for the club.
Yeah, Charlton in a rich vein of form, won their last 4 games. It's on the travels, they've got to start getting some wins instead of the draws and losing the odd one. Salmon in goal, flat back 4. Brown, strong, right-sided player, can strike the ball when he ventures forward. And then Rufus and Chapple, I think, are definitely going to be tested today, with Taylor and obviously Brian Deane. Mark Bowen on the left-hand side does like to get up on the support of Robinson. Robinson's been in sparkling form for Charlton this season. Can play right or left, and just inside them, Kinsella. Anywhere around the 18-yard box, Kinsella will let fly. Great striker of the ball, scored last week. Jones alongside him, and Sean Newton. Interesting to see Newton down the right-hand side, taking on the youngster, the left-footed wing-back, Curtis Woodhouse. Can Newton get his game going? And then up front, Leaburn, very awkward, gangly, and Mendonca, who's in tremendous form. This should be a cracker today.
Well, as the league's leading scorers, Charlton, it maybe isn't too much of a surprise that our pundits are predicting a high-scoring game. The number of goals that they've managed this season spread out among 13 different players in the squad. And only Manchester United and Chelsea in the 4 divisions of England have scored more in league fixtures throughout the course of this season. But they're being kept waiting by the home team, Sheffield United, for whom 1997 can be considered something of a success. The desperate defeat that they suffered with the virtual last kick of the playoff final. Alan Kelly, the goalkeeper, shaking hands there, wasn't part of that day. He was out injured and has had to wait a long time to be restored to the first team. But they've done well to shake off the cobwebs of disappointment of that defeat at Wembley and to stay in the promotion race so far this season. Don Hutchison and John Robinson meeting up there as the 2 teams come out into a very windy arena here at Bramall Lane. Just how much a part the conditions will play in it remain to be seen, but Sheffield United and Charlton right up there on the tails of the top 2 and hoping to stay there for the remainder of the season. The whole game coming up after the break.
The last game of 1997 for Sheffield United and Charlton, an important one for both of them. Let's rejoin our commentators at Bramall Lane, Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
Clive Mendonka was the goal-scoring hero for Charlton when they beat Sheffield United at the Valley just over 3 weeks ago. Has scored virtually wherever he's been except Sheffield United, where in 2 spells he wasn't really given much of an opportunity in the first team. But opposing him today is Brian Deane, who's also in his second spell at Bramall Lane. A real hero though, and he's scored 11 goals already this season, 6 of them in the last 10 matches. A tally he'll be looking to add to in this last game of 1997. Roger Spackman, the man who brought him in here, has definitely put his own stamp on the team, including David Lee, the loanee from Chelsea. He's brought in 10 players whom he's then used. And the latest side that he turns out, which as we were hearing earlier is a much changed one from the opening day of the season, will get the game underway. They're in the red and white stripes. Charlton are in white with just red stripes down their shorts. It's actually a change from their usual away strip, which hasn't brought them much luck on their travels. and therefore they've dug out an old strip to try and change their fortunes here today. But having said that, they're on a great roll at the moment, looking for their 5th consecutive win, and Sean Newton here being taken out wide by Woodhouse, the young wing-back, who's recently established himself in the Sheffield United lineup and has just signed professional forms in the 2nd year of his apprenticeship here at Bramall Lane. It is a very windy end-of-year day. That may well play its part. A flag went up there against Mendonca, must have been pretty tight.
Yeah, United pushing up very quickly, but this fella will be a threat today, Mendonca. You know, sometimes he can be out of the game for 10-15 minutes and then explodes into action. Here, a couple of yards offside.
Clive Mendonca hadn't had a great deal of luck against his old club before the meeting at the Valley nearly 3 weeks ago. He'd lost the previous 3 games against them for Grimsby. He's kicked by Chapple, but he gets away with it. Here is Mendonca. And Nicky Marker's role against Mendonca will be a very important one for Sheffield United today.
That's what Charlton are going to have to contend with today, the aerial battle. Can Rufus and Chapple, can they battle against Deane and Taylor?
Lee. Judgment of passing in these conditions absolutely crucial.
Yeah, he's a ball-playing centre-half. You know, he's not the toughest or the best in there, but loves to read the situation and bring the ball out of defence. Not the conditions for it today.
Charlton came into this game 4 points behind the leading 2, Middlesbrough and Nottingham Forest. And the one definite about this game, with the other fixtures to come today, is that Sheffield United will leapfrog Charlton if they win, because they start the game a point behind their opponents. Good movement by Charlton early on.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle on that side. Sean Newton, when he's in the top of his game, he's a smashing player. Tremendous pace, very positive, attacks full-backs or wing-backs. Little Curtis Woodhouse, you know, what a day for him, signing professional for him, 17-year-old, likes to get forward. We've got a feeling today he's going to have to keep an eye on Newton.
Chapple. Hutchison. Leaburn setting Robinson away. And as Hutchison slid in, he left his mark on the pitch, which may cut up today.
A little bit bare the pitch. Hutchison will be looking to impress. Back in the side, just catching Robinson there. But I think Charlton are coming here full of confidence, Rob. I know the record here in Sheffield United, Bramall Lane, is diabolical, but with that good result against them a few weeks ago, full of confidence.
Deane here has picked out Saunders. Woodhouse making a break to his left. Bobby Ford. And gave Woodhouse too much work to do there.
Yeah, again, it's very, very windy out there, blustery and a bit bobbly, so the passing has got to be precise.
Bobby Ford signed for £400,000 from Oxford at the height of their financial problems, and they were grateful for the money that they received from his sale. Mendonca. Leaburn. Lee. Hutchison. Kinsella was applying pressure. And Sheffield United find it difficult to get the root out of their own half at the moment.
Yeah, just look at the United back three, Marker, Lee and Nilsen. Nilsen's not having a terrific time at the moment. Lee on loan. Marker, who's been steady, but it just looks a little bit jittery to me.
Here's Borbokis. Taylor. Challenge was by Bowen. And here's Mendonca. This Sheffield United backline has been completely reshaped since the start of the season. Holdsworth, McGrath and Carl Tyler, who's since gone to Everton. That partnership was undisturbed for the first 11 league games of the campaign. Taylor here with a header. Deane looking to get through.
Yeah, that's a ploy today, there's no doubt about it. Taylor is a handful in the far post, and so is Deane. But this time, Taylor trying to provide for Brian Deane. Sweeping ball, Bowen's underneath it. Taylor easily outbeats him, but Rufus does his job well there. It's a good header from Gareth Taylor, but look at Rufus holding his ground well in front of Brian Deane.
Sheffield United have found themselves overloaded with strikers. Jan Åge Fjortoft and Peter Katchouro on the bench can't get a game. Chris Bettany currently out on loan at Hull, and Andy Walker out on loan too. And still there continues to be speculation about Gareth Taylor's future. Almost left for Huddersfield earlier in the season, but that broke down as a result of the medical. And now a Utrecht delegation supposedly here today watching him perform. Here's Taylor. Borbokis. Trying to slip it for Saunders, but Chapple had read it well. This is Hutchison. This is Ford. Roger Nilsen. Woodhouse. Kinsella aiming to set Leaburn away. And Alan Kelly, who really was the star performer in the Boxing Day draw with Stoke, gets that clear.
Yeah, I think very, very important for Charlton today is Mark Kinsella. If he can get on the ball, good passer. You know, I know Alan Curbishley feels he should be more involved with the Republic of Ireland, but a good, accurate passer and got a lovely strike on him.
Kinsella has been capped by Ireland at under 21 level, but yet to break through into the senior squad. Mendonca. It's a steep round. Ushered away by Marco. Borbokis. Hutchison. Trying to free Woodhouse. Newton galloping to get back, but it's Saunders! Off the post and turned in by Taylor! Minutes in, and Taylor scores for Sheffield United.
Well, that will do Taylor's confidence so much good. But super play from Hutchison. This is a lovely ball. Releases Woodhouse. Newton tries to get back onside. Lobbed in. Good turn from Saunders. Saunders at his best here off the post. Taylor reacts the quickest. 1-0. Good play. Good white ball. Woodhouse just gets a toe to it. Into Saunders. A quick turn from Deane Saunders. Unlucky there. And a good finish from Taylor. Just the start Nigel Spackman wanted, and Saunders providing off the post. The keeper beat. Taylor with a goal. And there's the celebrations.
It is his 6th goal. The previous 2 had come against Stoke City home and away, and the crowd showing what they think about all the recent speculation of a possible move for Taylor. They've been chanting there's only one Gareth Taylor, and he certainly was in the right place at the right time for that.
I just feel Sheffield United, they have got the balance right with the 2 big men up front, Taylor and Deane, and then Saunders with the trickery, always looking for the ball to feet. Borbokis trying to get in there, but the referee having none of it. He wants the ball respotted. But great home form from Sheffield United.
And today's referee is Graham Laws, one of the 2 Laws brothers refereeing in the Nationwide League. He's from Whitley Bay. Plenty of menace from this free kick.
I just think Big Lee might fancy a strike on goal here.
Borbokis going towards it though.
What a goal he scored early on, Vasilis Borbokis. Beautiful left foot, this time with the right foot on the strike. Well balanced player. It's a start Charlton didn't want.
While Alan Curbishley was saying before the game how most of the goals they've conceded recently have been from penalties, and they have tightened up considerably at the back in their recent good run. So for Taylor to pierce the defence in such a fashion at such an early stage is a big blow.
I think the only thing that Curbishley would maybe disappointed with is when the ball came back off the post, Taylor was all alone with an easy tap in. The Saunders is a handful when he gets the ball to feet around the box, and the defenders can't go too close.
Here's Kinsella. He's always capable of a strike from distance, which was why Sheffield United were well advised to fend him off in the manner they did. Brown.
You'll always expect Charlton to concede away from home, because they do like to get forward quick. But they're always, you know, with Mendonca up there in Leaburn, there's always a chance they will score away from home. That's why they're the league's top goal scorers.
45 they've managed so far in league competition coming into this game, Charlton.
It's always nice getting an early goal when you're at home. So important now with Borough, Forest doing so well. And Sheffield United haven't been playing particularly well, but they've stayed up there. So this would be a great win for them.
Late goals have been very much the order of the day recently, highlighted by the 90th minute equaliser for Deane on Boxing Day. And here come Charlton, Mendonca's ball, and Leaburn not giving up the chase.
Certainly a knock off the ball there from Nilsen, and there's no need for that, I don't think. Roger Nilsen.
Brown. And Mendonca has gone too early, he's offside, but Leaburn, his strike partner, has already shown to Nilsen that he can be a handful.
I just felt earlier, Roger Nilsen didn't need to do this. Look, he's looking for, look at that, there's no need for that, that's blatant. And I think he's lucky to get away with that.
Leaburn, a strong character. Handball given against Jones. This is Robinson. Hutchison. Nilsen. Chapple. Here's Borbokis. Ford. Woodhouse to his left. And he's given Newton the slip. Rufus in the way. This is Lee. It's good sustained pressure from Sheffield United. Hutchison. And Taylor unable to connect, but he really was in the right place at the right time for that opening goal.
Yeah, we're delighted with this, but it's a good first touch from Deane Saunders. Just gets it on the half volley there. Goalkeeper no chance, but look at Taylor, had his arms up, and Mark Bowen was nowhere near him.
Charlton undone by the two Welshmen. Saunders hitting the post, and Taylor in there with the follow-up.
Charlton have got to start getting tighter now. They're allowing the service into the front players too easy. It's got to be a lot of hard work closing down to try and get the game going, Charlton. I think Sheffield United can be vulnerable at the back here, but that early goal's really put their wayside up against it.
Mendonca, one of the targets maybe for Kinsella from the free kick, although Leaburn and Chapple provide plenty of power in there. Leaburn, oh! Cracking effort off the woodwork. Chapple goes in, and really Sheffield United clinging on by their fingertips there. Charlton causing absolute mayhem from the free kick. Great strength from Carl Leaburn. This man Kelly mightily relieved. Ford. Saunders. Here's Nilsen. Woodhouse is making some very useful runs, and they're thankful for the pace of Newton, who just pulled back there.
Yeah, it's a good battle, but this youngster's thriving in it, isn't he, this atmosphere. Newton is very quick, but Woodhouse has impressed me in these opening few minutes. And the big fella up front for Charlton. He's such a big, gangly, tall, strong fella. The head drops, he gets the right foot to 7 yards out, a little bit off balance, and that's very unlucky from Carl Leaburn. Kinsella with a dead ball. Up go the heads, Leaburn. It hits the back of marker. Leaburn reacts, but you can see him leaning back. And that was unlucky. Charlton almost back in the match. With the right foot outstretched, beats Kelly, but comes off the crossbar.
Good reaction from Leaburn from his initial header. And they're looking to split the United defence again here with Newton, and he's got it across. Just let it go, no one behind him. It's Borbokis bringing it clear, too short for Saunders. And here's Bowen, still plenty forward here for Charlton. Robinson in front of Leaburn and not behind by Nilsen for the corner.
Great ball from Robinson. Great ball from Robinson. Nilsen delighted to get it past. Leaburn lurking at the far post. But John Robertson wastes no time at all here. Realises Sheffield United caught them in the hop. Nilsen, wow. That was cool stuff from Roger Nilsen, just touching it wide.
Chapple making an attempt for the corner, but well held by Kelly.
And Charlton feel now, okay, come on, let's get going, let's up the tempo and get at Sheffield United, proving they can be menacing on the attack. Plan for a free transfer, Deane Saunders. Busy little player. Missed a few chances last game or so, but always available for the ball. He's a pest around the 18-yard box.
Deane. Chapple, this is Hutchison. Now Borbokis. Saunders was calling for an early one. Borbokis making room for himself.
So you don't want to be giving him too much time in the ball, this fella. Two-footed, coming inside in his left foot, but it was a great ball from Don Hutchison early.
Basilis Borbokis, who had a family bereavement just before Christmas and was taken off at half-time in the match at Stoke. Here's Lee. Ford. Woodhouse. Taylor. And Marshall by Rufus. Bobby Ford. Marker under pressure from Mendonca.
Very, very tight. Mark Bowen was the last man. Saunders had gone on the run, but Deane was looking for the ball from Nilsen with his sweet left foot, and this is tight. Just hits it there. Look at Deane and Mark Bowen just looking along the line with the right arm raised, and that is close.
They certainly were taking a big chance, but it came off. Charlton at pains to point out that they haven't been grinding out results in their recent good run of wins, and certainly the cavalier style in which they've responded to going a goal down suggests that they're not a team to cave in easily.
I think, Alan, the last thing you want is away from home is to concede an early goal. It was decent. Saunders made it coming off the post, but he'd want a little bit more reaction from his defenders.
Know that from their past reputation of throwing promotion opportunities away, that everyone is waiting for the Charlton promotion bubble to burst. And this holiday programme always a key marker in terms of the season ahead. Challenge was by Chapple on Brian Deane.
And he's got a battle on his hands because Deane strong, quick when he gets going also. The Chapple, as much as he's good in the air, does lack a bit of pace. That's where Rufus comes in.
Robinson. Here's Chapple. Rufus. Steve Brown. Leaburn. Nilsen shadowing Leaburn.
There's a good left foot, Nilsen. There's this fella. He wasn't the darling of the Charlton fans, but he's an awkward customer to deal with.
Part of the Charlton team for so long, Carl Leaburn. Actually in the side when they were last in the top division. Newton aiming it across towards Mendonca.
That's not a bad ball, and really Leaburn, he's the one who's got to try and get on them. Mendonca's not the best in the air. It's a good ball from Sean Newton.
Lee. Marker, flag up against Brian Deane. Brian Deane, who got the late equaliser against Stoke. Wonder if he could have been on for that then.
I tell you, he makes some great runs, this fella, and I'm just wondering, was this off? The ball's delivered there, and again, Charlton very square. It's not offside.
Charlton continue to take the gamble of that offside. On one of these occasions, you would expect Deane to catch them out.
It'd be wrong to say United are all long ball, because they're not. You know, they do try and get into the feet of Saunders, but they're very capable of just having a quick look up and delivering. And that's what Charlton have got to be very careful, playing a little bit too square for me.
Hutchison here looking to deliver. Bowen in the way of that one. Rufus. Newton to Brown. They got through Lee. Not looking marker. Another offside flag.
I think the key when you come to Bramall Lane is you have to battle these two. There's no doubt about it. You have to dominate in the air. Deane and Taylor are a handful. And while Chapple can head the ball, Rufus, no, they're not dominant. It could be the difference who wins today. Charlton need a little bit more from their wide players, a little bit more from Newton on the right and definitely Robinson on the left.
Hutchison. Saunders challenging with Brown. This is Newton. Put under pressure by Woodhouse. Salmon, who, like his opposite number Alan Kelly, didn't start the season. And for the last few games though in place of Pedersen. Chapple backpedaling here against Deane. Rufus is there for cover, but this is Saunders.
And again the ball over the top. Saunders quick, very quick to spark up front alongside Taylor and Brian Deane. But when the ball bounces, Chapple's always in trouble for me. Again, a big up and under. It bounces there. Deane trying to get past Chapple, and Saunders rushes the right foot volley.
Sheffield United really have made Bramall Lane their fortress during 1997. Just 3 defeats here during the course of the year. Wolves, Norwich and West Brom, the teams to win at this ground. And they were all in the latter half of last season. Leaburn.
Ball there. Hutchison clearly knocked it against Leaburn's right hand.
Here's Jones. Rufus. Given against Mendonca.
Very chilly afternoon, isn't it? I'm just waiting for Marcus at the start of the programme saying a nice mild day. It's freezing up here. It's the wind that's causing the problems. Very blustery.
It's a a bit of a winter wonderland at the moment for Sheffield United, having established that early lead thanks to Gareth Taylor. Great instincts from him as the ball came back off the post from Saunders.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like it with the two target men up there and Saunders off them. You know, Taylor delighted to get on the score sheet, but he's a handful at the far post, whereas Deane can pop up anywhere. Good all-round player, Brian Deane.
Taylor was already here at the club, of course, but Nigel Spackman did bring in Deane and also Dean Saunders. And it's clear that he's looking for Premiership experience to get them into the Premiership. Saunders and Deane having played there last year, and Taylor with international experience from his time with Wales. Here's Ford, beaten by Newton. This is promising from Sean Newton, but it was a lot of work for him to do on his own.
Yeah, he was unlucky, Newton. He was looking to try and slip someone in, but no one was up with him. No Mendonca and no Leaburn. But the youngster doing well, Curtis Woodhouse, again getting back, tracking Sean Newton well.
Borbokis. And away goes Saunders. Taylor and Deane in the middle. Taylor!
Sheffield United, good movement, and Charlton really having a struggle to cope with Saunders. He's popping up everywhere, Dean Saunders. This time Borbokis slips it down the right flank, whips it across. Ambitious right foot volley from Taylor, but good movement again from busy Saunders. Flips it in. Yeah, it's a difficult right foot volley there, just falling Gareth Taylor, but getting in good positions.
Where it's going at the moment, it seems that Sheffield United have weathered the immediate storm after that Leaburn shot that crashed against the bar.
Yeah, Charlton are still dangerous, Rob, I feel, especially with the likes of Newton down the right, with his pace, tremendous pace, and we can feed the ball into Leaburn. This fella is a handful when he's on his game.
Here's Brown with a throw-in. Cleared towards Robinson. Borbokis in the way. Header out by Rufus. Sheffield United throw in.
That's better from Rufus. Just telling Taylor, hey, I'm still here. He's got to show the physical presence against this fella.
Brown looking to release Mendonca, and Kelly, unorthodox but effective.
Yes, good goalkeeping. He had to leap as well, Kelly. But Mendonca looking to get in behind Lee. It's a long, hopeful ball. Mendonca's left his marker, and Kelly, good vision from the keeper, not using the hands.
Alan Kelly was in the PFA First Division team for last season, and yet couldn't get in the Sheffield United team for a league match in the first 4 months of this one. Jones, Leaburn, and a good effort from Newton. Turned away again by Kelly.
Yes, good stuff from Charlton now. Beginning to, pushing forward, growing in confidence. Newton drifting in here after a good layoff from big Carl Leaburn. Left foot strike, Kelly down smartly to his left. Charlton pushing and probing forward. Newton gets a drive in. And it's a good height for the keeper.
It's Kinsella's corner. Leaburn.
Well, Sheffield United, for all the power in there up front, look a little bit fragile at the back. And Brown could perhaps have done a bit better. Long ball to the far post, bending away from goal. Leaburn with a clear header, and Brown just can't get over it.
Taylor climbing all over Steve Brown to give away the free kick. Two goals that Clive Mendonka scored against Sheffield United earlier in the season at the Valley led to United losing 2 games on the trot for the only time so far in this campaign. 3 defeats since the season's beginning. It's not been a bad start at all to the managerial life of Nigel Spackman. question of sustaining what they've already built up over the first half of the term.
It's always nice when your home ground's a fortress. Bramall Lane certainly is at the moment.
The crowd really getting behind them as they break here with Deane. Taylor and Saunders inevitably in the middle, and they'll stay there for the throw. Deane has gone into the box to join them. Hutchison has come forward too. He's looked back instead to Nicky Marker. This is Bobby Ford. Nilsen. Taylor stretching Brown. Ford unfortunate with a stumble. It has allowed Charlton to break, and Robinson has made up some good ground.
Yeah, Marker held his ground well there. Good play from Nicky Marker, reading the situation perfectly.
They do break at speed though, Charlton, and if Robinson and Newton can get in a position to do some damage, then United could be in trouble. A challenge by Kinsella. Jones. Here's Leaburn. Hutchison. Away goes Borbokis. Deane took up a position in the box, and it's turned across, and it's there from Saunders.
Wow, would you believe it? Deane Saunders again popping up from nowhere. And Charlton defenders really all over the shop. This Borbokis who's gone under that challenge with Rufus, I believe. But again, 4 Sheffield United players around the ball. Here's a challenge from Rufus on Borbokis. How does Deane get this back? That's bad defending and bad awareness. But Deane Saunders says thank you very much. It's a nasty looking challenge coming here. Borbokis goes down heavily. I don't think Deane should get this across. And Saunders first to react. 2-0. Brian Deane, fully aware of where Deane Saunders is. That shouldn't get across for me. And there's the finish. And really, Charlton, crikey, what a task ahead of them now.
He scored in the last home game against Swindon, and he scored now his second goal for Sheffield United. Deane Saunders, who'd already scored 4 for Forest before his arrival at Bramall Lane, gives the scoreline an altogether more comfortable look for the home team. But less comforting is the sight of Borbokis, who's still struggling as a result of the injury in the build-up.
Well, Rufus had to get across. It's the follow-through that catches him. Well, let's hope he's okay. He's had a bad 10 days or so. Death of his father, then delayed at the airport over to do with the army. Let's hope he's okay. I like Borbokis, good player.
Well, he played a full part in engineering that goal. And
Sheffield
it's a sizable
United
task here now for Charlton.
The way they won the ball back, 4 players sort of pounce on a Charlton player. It's a real hungry-looking home side.
Can they match that hunger and endeavour? Robinson looking very determined.
He lost the shin pad there as well.
And Marker was equally determined.
Yeah, Marker, a bit of an unsung hero here at Bramall Lane. Goes about his job, Mr. Steady.
And cheering is for the return of Borbokis, who's come back on at an opportune moment as they defend this corner. Taken by Kinsella, and Kelly was struggling. Bowen hit his own man in the face, and he really has knocked Kinsella for 6. In fact, it's not Kinsella, it's Robinson who is knocked for 6 with that ball.
He tried to find Kinsella. It was a smashing ball as well. A shame Robinson get in the way.
Saunders. And beyond Taylor and Woodhouse.
United are looking mean, aren't they? Saunders buzzing about everywhere. Created the first goal, scored the second. I have to say, Charlton's defence, Alan Kirbishley, when he looks back at this, will not be happy.
Just at a time when it seemed that they'd ironed out any problems that they may have had in defence earlier in the season.
felt the first goal, Saunders off the post, no reaction, and the second goal, Deane should never have got the ball across, and even when he did get it across, Saunders nipped in first.
Deane showed great determination. It looked as though Rufus might have done enough initially, but Deane really did make the best of it. Borbokis with the throw. Here he goes again, working his wizardry against Robinson.
Robinson having to do a lot of defending against this fella. Normally likes to get forward, but in the moment it's defend, defend, defend.
Hutchison trying to hit them early, and there's a flag up there against Taylor, even though Deane had been retreating from an offside position.
Charlton defence really is struggling badly at the moment. I don't know when to come out or when to hold. You can see Deane clearly offside. I think it's offside. I think Taylor's offside anyway. There's been too many marginal decisions for me. How they need a goal back in the next 10 minutes.
Look back at how Charlton have got away with a few decisions and yet still find themselves 2-0 down. And you wonder just how more emphatic the margin could have been. Deane forced back by Brown. Charlton have never particularly enjoyed their visits to Bramall Lane. Sheffield United have been unbeaten in the last 15 league matches against them here and 18 in all competitions. Indeed, Charlton's last victory here was before even their manager Alan Kirbishley was born. That was some 40 years ago. Reminder of the massive match coming up later. Newcastle against Liverpool, Super Sunday at 4 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Can't be another 4-3 surely.
I said that last time.
Maybe it'll be 5-4 this time.
Some great games today, isn't there? North London derby as well, mouth-watering.
Robinson.
I don't know what he's trying there. I don't know if he was trying to hook it back. The angle, well, acute angle on the left foot. Hasn't seen a lot of the ball, Robinson, has he? But you're not going to score from there, I don't think. Especially when Kelly. He's a busy player, Jonathan Robinson. You know, he plays right or left. He's just struggling at the moment to get in the game. Borbokis is dictating to him.
Robinson, a Welsh teammate of the two scorers so far. Deane looking to add a third.
Well, that was a great chance from Deane. I think that had guaranteed sewn the points up. And Chapple gets the wrong side. He's having a job, Chapple, against the menace of Deane and Taylor. Salmon will be delighted keeping that one out, but Deane could have just tied it all up. Again, it's direct, knock forward. Taylor, another good header, but look at Chapple the wrong side, and here Deane does well. He gets it on his right foot, takes it away from Chapple. Good play, but no finish.
And from all the permutations of the strikers at his disposal, Stackman appears to have found the winning combination. Saunders there judged offside.
Again, Charlton risking it, pushing up. Maybe they should be going man to man, but Saunders is a problem. It really is dodgy that the game they're playing at the moment is offside, and no one is picking up Deane Saunders. It has to be rectified at half time.
Here's Nilsen. Crucial touch from Bowen. Robinson back here.
Nothing going out for Charlton.
Well, he claimed it was still in.
The linesman offside. He'd spotted it.
Borbokis here causing trouble.
Well, the wind definitely got hold of that one, but there was a free kick on the far side. Taylor and Brown. But Salmon was not sure of it. The wind got hold of it. Look at the tussle at the far post. Taylor is trying to get past Brown. There. Brown goes down, but Salmon was not sure at all.
Two 2-0 down, 5 minutes to go to half time, and one or two lucky escapes as well for Charlton. Brown, Newton. Touch was from Leaburn. Well, he didn't look too sure, and the clearance has gone straight to Bowen. Mendonca. Bowen, Leaburn and Mendonca in the box, trying to combine with Mendonca, and Bowen keeps it in.
Yeah, he's a bit unlucky, Mark Bowen. He loves a 1-2, you know, when he ventures forward. He just wants the wall pass. You someone show for me and I'll continue my run. Watch him hold his hand saying, come on. And the ball's not the best. Bowen tries to get his foot round it, but out of play.
Bowen looking to combine with Mendonca, who, despite his recent lack of goals, has still been applauded for his general contributions. Sure that 14 goals, as Mendonca has managed, already has him out as a marked man whenever teams come up against Charlton these days.
He's a sharp player, Mendonca, but he's on the job today. There's a lot of the stuff knocked up is to the air, looking for Leaburn, and he's got to try and feed off the little knockdowns. But he's an explosive type player. You give him a chance, and this fella can feed him with his strengths and his presence. But really, I just feel the midfield players of Charlton have to get up a little bit earlier to support.
Jones. Here's Mendonca. Now Kinsella.
Kinsella venturing forward a little bit more now, and he can hit them normally. Doesn't catch that one with the right foot. Give him half a yard anywhere around the 18-yard box, he'll let fly. Good pressure again from Sheffield United. They're closing down extremely well in the middle of the park.
Looks to have been a wise move by Nigel Spackman to restore Don Hutchison to the lineup. Clearly felt they'd been a bit lightweight with Graham Stuart in that position in the last game. Jones, back comes forward. Borbokis.
They're not scared to hit a long one, are they? When it's on and they see the target man, they let it go. Midfield, especially Saunders, zipping up there to get alongside them.
Kinsella. Hutchison.
He's unlucky, Hutchison. Robbing Kinsella, trying to find Deane. Good display here from the Blades. Just that one from Leaburn hitting the crossbar, put them under a bit of pressure. They really are settled down nicely, eager to win the ball back, closing down. Willie Donachie and Nigel Spackman got to be delighted.
Nigel Spackman had to work hard to win over the crowd here. Eventually was the popular choice to succeed Howard Kendall, and as long as they maintain this unbeaten home record under him, well, I'm sure the crowd will stay very much on his side. But Charlton have come together in worse adversity than just losing football matches before. They showed great resilience to bounce back after all the negative publicity over the sacking of Jamie Stuart following his positive drugs test, and it's since then that they've been on their recent good run. But now in the context of this match, can they come back from this 2-0 scoreline?
Good football inside, aren't they? Just got to show a bit of steel on the travels.
Would that be a costly giveaway from Chapple to Hutchison? This is Saunders. Deane on his own in the box. Taylor looking to get there as well now. Played behind the pair of them, but this is Ford. Woodhouse.
Now Saunders again, causing all sorts of problems. And when you have one off the front two who's eager for the ball and eager and willing to make the run, someone has to pick him up. You either have to pass on or you go man to man with him.
Charlton did have a bit of extra recovery time with their Boxing Day match having kicked off at noon. But at the moment it's their defence that's looking the more lethargic.
Marker. Once again, Saunders all alone, picking the ball up.
And he's found Deane, has he? Woodhouse coming in! And he goes down, and they all look to the referee.
Well, I think the kid's unlucky here, because he takes a touch. I thought he was going to go for goal. He takes a touch, and Salmon definitely makes contact. Watch this, the kid takes a touch here over the goalkeeper. There's the contact, that's a penalty, surely. Curtis Woodhouse, good composure. There's the challenge. And wow, Charlton must be feeling a little bit fortunate.
Well, the referee looked to his assistant on that far side, Rob McGregor, for some assistance. It wasn't forthcoming, and a controversial end to the first half with Sheffield United 2 up and missing out there, possibly on an opportunity to extend that advantage to 3. But really, Gareth Taylor gave them the perfect start with a goal in the 8th minute, with some great reactions after Deane Saunders had hit a magnificent shot against the post. But Saunders got the reward for all his hard work later in the half. Brian Deane setting him up. It was Dino to Dino, 2-0 to Sheffield United, and a very commanding looking lead at the break.
The final Super Sunday of 1997 comes from St James's Park. Newcastle at home to Liverpool from 4 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Half-time on Sky Sports 2 at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United are in the box seat against Charlton. They lead by 2-0. United starting the day in 4th place, Charlton in 3rd. They'll be swapping positions if the match carries on like this. 8 attempts to 5 in United's favourite. Only 1 on target for Charlton, though they have forced 3 corners. Referees had a good quiet game. He's let it flow. No bookings in the first half. And the action areas favour United, as does the possession. Well, Charlton haven't won at Sheffield United for 40 years. It's not looking too good for them at this stage. Brian Horton is my guest today. He's predicting a 3-2 home win, and he could well be right. United in front as early as the 7th minute. It wasn't the start that Charlton wanted, but it was a lovely move, Brian.
It was a good move, and the lads got forward great down there. They do the system well. It's a great turn by Saunders, exactly what we said before the game. He'll hit shots from anywhere, and Taylor's going up in the air, sort of acknowledging Saunders' effort as though it's a goal. And it just comes straight back to him, fortunately, and he sticks it in well. That's a great turn from Saunders. I mean, this is what it was all about. He's all over the place. Alan Brazil said it. You know, he's going down the right wing. He's coming off the defenders. He's giving them a hell of a problem at the moment, Deane Saunders.
Well, Charlton had their moments, particularly in the first 15 minutes or so, and Carl Leaburn had the golden opportunity from the Kinsella free kick. He had to stretch just a little bit, though, didn't he, Brian? And that ultimately proved his downfall.
Yeah, if you look at it closely now, I mean, it's just gone down for him. Just as about to do it, I think it's Deane. That's the man coming off the line. It looks as though he's just going to volley it away, and Leaburn's just overstretching, and hence it's gone up into the air and onto the bar. Bit unfortunate, because he struck it well.
Have you been disappointed with Charlton up front in general, though?
Well, Mendonca's hardly had a touch. Robinson's hardly had a touch, so they've had a few chances, but they haven't really struck any play together at all, no passing, and I think Alan Kirbysley will be very disappointed with them first half.
We talked a lot about Brian Deane and Deane Saunders before the match, and they combined to give United the crucial second.
Yeah, I mean, it's again pushing the wing back on again, you know, and that's a great tackle from Borbokis. Very brave.
What's that name?
Borbokis. And I think the defender should do better here. Alan Brazil again made the point that Bowen here should do better. Look, he's gone through his legs, but it's a half-hearted challenge, and Deane Saunders just had a little tapping again, really. But it's a poor goal from Charlton's point of view.
Can they come back?
They'll have the wind, I think, second half, but they're going to have to play a lot better than they've done. I mean, they've got to They've got to start to get into the game. The midfield players haven't been seen. Sheffield United generally have dominated the game.
Charlton could have been out of it if a penalty had been awarded in the very last minute of the first half. Alan Brazil thought it was a penalty. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he's certainly taken it past him. I think maybe the referee, in fact, is right behind where the ball is, and the only thing I can think that he's given the keeper the benefit of the doubt that he hasn't really gone for the man. His motion's taken him forward, but he's certainly got a touch on the player.
Charlton got the benefit of the doubt then. They have a lot to do in the second half if they're to make it 5 successive wins and 6 wins in 7. Their away form has been disappointing until recently. They've got to improve or they're going to miss out on a chance to put real pressure on the leaders. At Bramall Lane, Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
And at the opposite ends of Nigel Spackman's spending, Brian Deane, his most expensive purchase at £1 million, and Deane Saunders, who came in on a free transfer. But Saunders really has been running the show in the first half, and it really will be Charlton's responsibility to sort that out as the second half gets underway. Charlton it is who'll kick off in this second half, looking for a quick and early break. And Kinsella steering it back to Mark Bowen, who really has had a first half of torment. Borbokis coming at him, Deane coming at him to set up the second goal for Saunders. It's not been a happy afternoon so far for the former West Ham and Norwich man. It was Robinson, now Bowen.
I think he heard you there, Rob. There's no doubt Mark will be disappointed, especially when he sees it again. And the first one he was the wrong side when Taylor had the empty tap in, and when Deane cut that ball back from the byline, you'd expect Mark to do a lot better. But Taylor doesn't mind, he's on the score sheet. Maybe looking to add to his tally second half.
Deane, that's Ford. Another offside decision, which must have been pretty marginal.
Yeah, there's been a few tight ones, hasn't there? Really, again, this one has got to be tight. The ball's not there. Ugh. Maybe he's an inch offside, I don't know.
Mendonca chasing onto it. It was skimmed off the head of Carl Leaburn.
Yeah, Robinson was in there as well, and really these half chances Charlton are creating, they've got to take one, and take one soon to get back in the match, because you really feel Sheffield United will score again.
Robinson.
Hutchison again doing well, getting back onto Robinson, getting through a lot of work done. Hutchison.
Jones, here's Kinsella, and he's hit it well! Stunning effort.
What a strike that is. Hardly any backlift at all there from Mark Kinsella. And twice, the second time, Charlton hit the crossbar. Goalkeeper beaten, what a goal that would have been. Just gets a touch bend in it, sheer power, just rising, and very unlucky. And really, Kelly had no chance there.
He really is a major threat coming in from that sort of angle, Mark Kinsella. He really can launch them, as he proved there.
That's what they have to do, though. They have to get up and support the midfield of Charlton. You know, 2-0 down. You have to start taking chances. As long as they can look after Saunders, then they have to push up, push forward.
Kinsella's been a little bit disappointed with his goal-scoring returns so far this season. Just 3 goals. He himself feels that he should be getting more than that. But when he does score, they tend to be spectacular strikes. And that would have been a bit special.
You remember last season, was it last season or the season before, against Bolton? Smashing goal.
And against Newcastle too, in the Cup he scored a cracker. Mendonca.
He's got to be a little bit stronger, Clive Mendonca there. To get your midfield players up towards you to support, you have to hold the ball up and give your defence a breather, push up the halfway line. And that hasn't happened with Charlton this afternoon. Not just Mendonca, Leaburn as well. He's a big, tough striker. He's got to get, you know, shielding the ball well, good control, good first touch, and bring people into the game.
Mendonca was so keen to do well on his return to Bramall Lane. 2 spells here, started here, was sold to Rotherham and then bought back, but in total made just 23 appearances in his time at Sheffield United and scored 5 goals along the way. Forwards clearance, this is Rufus.
United are very disciplined at home, you know. When they lose the ball, they don't have to get behind the ball quick. Really, the 4 midfield players, vroom, all back behind the ball. They tasted a bit of Wembley in the playoff final. To be heartbroken with Hopkins, fantastic goal. They want a bit more of it this time. That's by Lee. He done the hard stuff well, didn't he? Taylor. The crowd really are willing him on to do well. The crowd like him here.
Leaburn's flick. This Sheffield United defence so well organised, and Michael Spackman in his first managerial role has to take some of the credit. But so too the man he brought in is his right-hand man, Willie Donachie, on the left of the screen there, who was the faithful lieutenant to Joe Royle in the successful days at Oldham, and also in their time at Everton together when they won the FA Cup.
Yeah, Catamount boy from Glasgow. He's got to be enjoying his football at the moment.
Nilsen just couldn't keep it in.
I think they'll just be thinking on the bench now, come on boys, give us a third and the game's all over. Third goal, 3 points, and leapfrogging Charlton on the table. Whereas Charlton desperately need one back.
Steve Brown's free kick. Up towards Leaburn.
Marcus doing a good job against Leaburn, you know, he's annoying him.
Hutchison. His presence really has stiffened up that midfield area for United. Marker. Here's Taylor. The touchdown was from Deane, who's gone into the box. The cross blocked by Chapple, corner.
Chapple's very unhappy with the ref. I think he felt Taylor was tugging and all over him there. Whereas the United fans were claiming handball here.
Borbokis with the corner. Deane. And Hutchison doing well to feed Borbokis once more. Who can he furnish with a cross? Chapple is there, another corner.
It's a great ball again from Borbokis. You know, every time, some people must think I'm his agent because I keep giving him mention after mention, but this is a good ball into the box. Bending back away from the keeper, and Chapple has to concede another corner.
Here he goes again with another proposition for the Charlton defence. Taylor. Given against Don Hutchison.
Yeah, the ref just done a little chat with Don there, a bit of back chat. Don't spoil a good performance, Don. Still having to go at the ref.
Nilsen. Taylor winning the duel with Chapple. And Rufus had the edge on Deane, but was clearly unsettled by the striker's presence. And Salmon got away with it, and it really is an edgy performance by the Charlton defence.
I think that's the difference in the aerial battles. You know, United desperately want to win them, much more than the Charlton players at the moment. Taylor, a classic example there. Shouldn't have won that ball. And at the other end, Marker, who's not winning them clean against Leaburn, but he's putting Leaburn off to get a definite good flick on it.
Marker watching Leaburn. Lee was watching Mendonca, who's now gone on. And Leaburn looks for Mendonca. He couldn't bring it under control, and Nilsen gets there.
Well, Nilsen got a second chance because Mendonca thought about volleying and then decided, no, I can take a touch. As it comes back to me, thinks about the touch there and just miscontrols, and Nilsen sweeps up.
They just unhinged the Sheffield United defence with that one moment. Brown hoping to profit from it. Cleared by Woodhouse. Chapple. This is Newton. Robinson has joined the attack. Reaches for that one. It's blocked by Lee. Kelly had to come. Save the corner. Here's Borbokis. Well, there was a ball on there for Taylor. If he could slip him through, they might find Deane from this. Salmon loses it. Free kick has been given for the challenge on the goalkeeper.
I don't think Salmon was aware Deane was right behind him. Saunders just standing up lovely to the far post. Salmon comes, two hands. Deane goes in a little bit late, and perhaps it was a foul on the goalkeeper. Charlton to get going. They've got to get the wide players in the game. Robinson on the left and Sean Newton on the right, but Newton's having a problem at the moment because little Woodhouse, 17, signed pro forms today. He's having a stormer.
Made his debut as a sub at Crewe, which began a run of 7 appearances in the team, Curtis Woodhouse. And he really is revelling in the occasion. Saunders. Losing out to Bowen. This is Jones. Kinsella. Bowen staying up in the attack. Mendonca can't turn there against Lee. Jones.
Good play from Lee. Two vital challenges there from David Lee.
Deane's lay off to Taylor. Saunders, the sole Sheffield United player in the box, joined now though by Brian Deane. Marker. Borbokis. A forward line of 4 now waiting in the 18-yard area for United, and Taylor's one of them, and that's off the post, and Deane makes sure with the rebound, and surely Sheffield United have clinched the points now. 3-0.
Yeah, Brian Deane said, no, I've got the final touch. I wasn't so sure. I thought maybe Rufus knocks us into net, but Borbokis weaves his magic again. Lovely ball to far post, Taylor off the post, and Deane with the knee, his right knee, prods the ball home. But look at Taylor, towering above, I think it's Brown. The goalkeeper's given up, and Deane stabs it home. Once again, the aerial threat from Sheffield United is too much. Good leap from Taylor, Salmon can't do nothing, Deane prods it in. 3-0, game over.
Well, what about this 3-man forward line now? All on the score sheet. Sheffield United rampant. Are Charlton dead and buried? Newton trying to prove otherwise. For the most part, Sheffield United have swarmed all over them. Kinsella here now looking to rescue some pride. Robinson. Here's Bowen. Curtis Woodhouse. Hutchison. Taylor.
Deane worked hard today, but Taylor again, after a great ball from Borbokis. Who reacts first? Brian Deane. And that's been the story. When there's been a 50-50 anywhere near the goal line, Sheffield United react the quickest.
Salmon appeared to have given up the ghost when the ball came back off the post, thinking it wasn't salvageable, but Deane's reactions like lightning. Woodhouse. And you start to wonder now just how sizable this victory could be. The flag is up for offside as Deane reaches out for it.
I thought that was a strange decision again there, offside. I thought it was a smashing ball from Nilsen with the left foot, whips this in. Let's have a look. And maybe right through the middle, two of them. But what a cracking ball from Nilsen. Well, I think Charlton are dead and buried now. Defensively, looking very weak and frail.
Kinsella. Lee. Well, what a healthy looking forward line this is turning out to be for Sheffield United. Taylor, Saunders and Deane all scoring and all involved in each other's goals as well. They really have had a field day.
Something off the front too.
Here's Kinsella. The course of the game might have been changed had his effort been a few inches under the bar instead of skimming the top of it.
I think I want to be delighted. The chances they've made, Alan Kirbishley, but defensively very, very weak. Only one Gareth Taylor, and they don't want him going anywhere, especially not Utrecht.
Touched on towards Mendonca, but Lee has done a very steady job.
I just wonder how Jan Fjortoft is finding all this sitting on the bench.
Jones. Brown. Newton. Bowen. Robinson out to his left, but he's got to look positive here. And that just about sums up his afternoon.
Yeah, Mark Bowen done well to beat Taylor to the ball, brought it forward again. He's looking for the 1-2. Mendonca had given him a run, but in the end, fizzling out again.
Will Charlton change it? Mark Bright appears to be getting ready for action. Opportunities have been limited for him at Charlton since he came in at the back end of last season, but how limited will the opportunities be for Jan Fjortoft if things continue the way they are at the moment? There is talk linking him with a move possibly to Bolton, but then with the number of strikers they have on their books at the moment, there always seems to be the possibility of a move for one of Sheffield United's front team.
I hate to say it, I think Jan Fjortoft will be watching the World Cup on the telly this year. He's a top goal scorer though. It's just sometimes, you know, you talk to some Sheffield fans, away from home, doesn't put it in, doesn't give enough effort. The goal scoring record, tremendous.
Well, he's been no slouch in the goal scoring stakes this season. Robinson, firm hit, Mendonca. Is it going to fall for them? Newton. That's blocked by Nilsen.
Well, it was blocked by Nilsen, but was it handball by Nilsen? There wasn't too much reaction from the Charlton players. I just wonder if that came off Nilsen's hand. But what a good stop from Kelly again. Robinson blasts it. Kelly makes a stop. Mendonca can't react. Watch this. Does it hit a hand? Well, maybe a bit unfortunate if it does. There's the left arm. Nothing going right for Charlton.
Sheffield United's defence like concrete at the moment. So difficult to break down. Whereas really the midfield and the attack running the show, and Deane taken down there and Chapple in trouble.
Good play from Deane. Good skills, running with the ball, just evading the challenge of Chapple. It's definitely a trip.
And it's definitely a yellow card too for Phil Chapple.
I just wonder 4 and 5's coming. Sheffield United look in a real mean, hungry mood. Try and build the goals up. As Charlton have had 3 good chances, haven't they? 2 off the crossbar, and that one there from Robinson.
Well, the 3-pronged attack has been irresistible so far. They're looking for a 4th here. Borbokis trying to open them up, and a flying header and a goal for Marker. Nicky Marker, who scored when they lost at the Valley 3 weeks ago, scores again against Charlton in what surely will be a victory now. 4-0.
Yeah, once again, delivery from the Greek Borbokis. Bends it in. Marker, unmarked. Simple task and nodding into the empty net. Look at that, Brown's nowhere. Rufus is at the back post. Marker can't believe his luck and just positions it past Salmon. So beautifully delivery and a nice nod down into the far corner. 4-0.
One suspects there will be a fairly long inquest in the Charlton dressing room after this end-of-year horror show. 4-0 they're trailing, and there's still plenty of time, over 25 minutes in fact, for Sheffield United to add more. They just can't contain this mean machine at the moment.
This could be disastrous for Charlton's season. A heavy defeat like this, going so well, a few tricky games coming up. They've got to keep their heads up now and battle away.
Charlton's defence at the moment is in pieces, and already you're saying it's going to be a damage limitation exercise from now on.
You have to cut the Bramall lane, and you know you have to head the ball. You have to mark tight and head the ball, defend. Alan Kirby, well, he knows it's all over. Must be disappointed with the marking.
Well, he's looking glum, but he's attempting to do as much of a repair job as he can with a double substitution. Anthony Barness on the right. Leaburn, one of the players, coming off. John Robinson is the other. And Barness and Bright are the men coming on to take their places. Mark Bright with exactly 200 goals, in fact, in his senior career. But even if he was to get his 201st, it would already look like being a consolation goal.
He's getting a nice warm reception, isn't he?
Inevitable, I suppose, for a former Wednesday man.
This has been excellent from United. There's a late challenge there going forward. Not too many sides would like to come to Bramall Lane, that's for sure. Just spelling it out to them. You know, this is our fortress, we're invincible here.
This will be 17 home games without defeat going back to last season. West Brom the last team to win here. Charlton though looking for at least a consolation goal. Borbokis with a header back. It really is away from home that Sheffield United are going to have to start picking up more points if they're to be a serious threat to the top 2, Nottingham Forest and Middlesbrough.
You know, in this performance, Rob, you wonder why that's so. Because they look so strong and powerful, with movement, good marking, great aerial strength. You know, why should that be?
Well, it's going to be 4 victories in 12 league games now for Sheffield United, and all of those victories have come at home. Reading last month was their only away win in 9 games, and that's something that Nigel Spackman and Willie Donachie will be setting their minds to. It's a good challenge from Woodhouse. Jones, too short for Bright. Kinsella. Ford was looking to release Saunders, too much on it for him though.
I think Saunders was a tremendous signing for Spackman. You want a bit of enthusiasm, movement, experience, just to keep you up there for them playoffs. And who's to say Sheffield United can't make it automatic?
Charlton's defence was ripped apart by Nottingham Forest, who put 5 goals past them, and there's still plenty of time for Sheffield United to add to the goals that they've already got. Taylor, who started it all off, Deane and Saunders have played their part too.
I just feel now, Rob, that beginning to take shape at the top of the First Division. Forest, Middlesbrough certainly, Sunderland on a roll, Sheffield United going well, with Wolves and Birmingham both picking up.
Nigel Spackman's side set to go within 2 points of the top two, ahead of their games later today. And they are certainly making it known that they'll be keeping the heat on in 1998. Brown with the throw. Here's Ford. Rufus. Taken down by Bobby Ford. Punished with the award of the free kick.
I think now Nigel Spackman was saying, come on boys, let's keep it clean. Clean sheet. Don't be giving silly goals away. Let's build on this.
Kinsella with a free kick. Beyond Bright. Bowen was the player coming in at the far post.
Again, Marco there. Marco's had an outstanding game for me. He's a strange player. He doesn't have a lot of pace, but positional sense. Look at the talking, the directing on the pitch. Great reader of the game. So many times in the right place at the right time during this match this afternoon, apart from that lovely goal.
Marco, who started the season doing a solid job in midfield, has been forced to go to the back because of the injuries they've had and the sale of Carl Tyler, and he's done a manful job. And Charlton about to play their last card, and the final substitution sees young Scott Parker introduced into the action, and an enviable situation for the England youth international, who's come on to take the place of Mark Kinsella.
Still experience when you're that age, youth international, as you say, Rob. Let's hope he enjoys it.
Parker, though, won't be overawed by the occasion. He's a player who's scored at Wembley in his days with the young England side, and is making his second club appearance for Charlton, having played at Bury as a substitute earlier in the season. Newton can't keep it in.
Yeah, not a lot's gone right for Newton either, has it? His excitement when he's on his game, going past people, but in young Woodhouse, he's found an exciting prospect, very, very fast. He's got to be delighted with his day today.
Here's Mendonca. Miserable reappearance against his old team for Mendonca. Here's Brian Deane, who could compound it still further.
Great flick from Saunders. But you know, the Charlton defenders, the two centre half, really have to. You've got to read things like that. It was Deane who was first to read it. That's not good enough. When you play against two big centre halves like Taylor and Deane, the first thing you must do is stop the service to them. The closing down is so important because they really are a handful. And when you have little Saunders buzzing in between them, down the sides of them, look how close they are there. It really is a recipe for disaster if you don't close the service.
Charlton defence has been pulled this way and that by the smart running of Dean Saunders this afternoon. And they'll be glad, I'm sure, to hear the referee's final whistle. Chapple here has a problem. Skipped away from the challenge, looking uncomfortable. Woodhouse. Parker. Parker certainly got involved since he came on.
He looks a nippy little wiry character. He's quite quick too, over a few yards.
Here's Woodhouse, he's quick and he's away from Newton, who pulled him back. Good advantage, great Saunders!
Yeah, good refereeing. allowing the game to flow. Saunders knows that was a golden opportunity. He could have taken a first touch, but great play from Woodhouse again. Now dictating to Sean Newton. Whips it across. Saunders with a first-time strike, and that's unlucky.
Saunders with the effort wide, but Woodhouse adding to an afternoon that Sean Newton, I'm sure, will not remember too fondly. Newton forced his way back into contention when he came on and scored against Port Vale. And with the injury to Matt Holmes, it allowed him back into the first team. How they respond to this defeat will be the measure of whether Charlton have the staying power or not for the remainder of the campaign. Parker's free kick. A taxing one for Kelly, but he kept his eye on it, resisted Brown's challenge. Rufus, here's Mendonca.
Yes, Mendonca. Great eye for goal, but really he's been surrounded by red and white shirts. It's been an unhappy return.
And the Grimsby team beaten 4-2 by Sheffield United last season. At least a 4-goal defeat it's looking like again here today. Barness with the free kick. Bright with the touch. Marker there once more. Lovely layoff from Saunders to Ford. And here's Deane. And again the Charlton defence being pulled apart with players coming into the far post. And the leaping Salmon getting there.
Yeah, unlucky Brian Deane. All the threat was at the far post. Taylor and Saunders were there. The centre-halves of Charlton, well, Rufus is covering the central position, but Deane knows exactly where his strike partner is. That's who he tries to find.
Looks like being no let up for Charlton in the last quarter of an hour or so. Ford. Woodhouse won't be able to retrieve that. Well, what a day it's been for Sheffield United, and it all started like this through Taylor. Great reactions have been very much the story of the day. Taylor, after Saunders had hit the post, Deane setting that one up for Saunders, and then Deane himself reacting quickly after Taylor's header had hit the post. What a great day it's been for the three-man forward line for Sheffield United. A distinctly memorable end to the year. Saunders, the pivotal figure. To the taking of the free kick is because Sheffield United are proposing to make a change. Graham Stuart getting his opportunity, and Borbokis, who's worked his magic yet again for Sheffield United, now being preserved for the battles that lie ahead. The next battle that lies ahead is in the FA Cup for Sheffield United, and Stuart, a winner of that competition with Everton a couple of years ago. As Hutchison floats in the free kick. Bit of a break from Nationwide League action for both of these teams, who have both got First Division opposition. Sheffield United have a game against Bury, while Charlton will face Nottingham Forest as they enter the FA Cup at the third round stage. Bowen. managed to get past Stuart, and Parker's shot comes back to him. Bright reacts, Mendonca! Well, he thought then that the goal was gaping enough for him to get a goal on his return to Bramall Lane, but it was not to be.
Great stop from Kelly though. He's looked so alert, so sharp. He's not too much to do, but watch how quickly he's out to smother this.
Kelly's inspired goalkeeping has played its part in making the scoreline as impressive as it surely will be. Bowen. Parker pulling away, Bright pulling away from Nilsen, and then Parker coming forward.
Well, to be fair to Charlton, they're not giving up, have they? They're still trying to endeavour, pushing forward, trying to get something back out of this game. Great strength from Deane again. That's what, for me, the whole game's gone for Charlton. Well, it's my 50-50. There's only one winner. That's a red and white shirt.
Hutchison. Here's Mendonca. He's made good progress and hits one.
Yeah, it'd be nice for Mark Bowen to get one. It's not been a great afternoon for Mark. He does like to get forward. This time coming inside thinking, okay, let's try the right foot. Gets a good strike on it, but Kelly had it covered.
Deane is going off, and another forgotten man in the forward ranks of Sheffield United is Peter Katchouro, who did so well last season in his first with the club, but has been marginalised this year.
Crikey, Rufus and Chapple say, what's happening here? On comes an international.
Last thing they need, 4-0 down already, to face the fresh legs of Katchouro. Tugging away at Woodhouse. Charlton have won the throw.
He's could have been tired after the game. He gets in the bath. Excellent performance. Really has battled Sean Newton. Sometimes dictated the game to him, making Newton defend.
Woodhouse, the second player that they've unearthed in that position this season. Wayne Quinn, who started the campaign, currently sidelined by injury, but have done well too for United as well as for the England under-21 side. And Woodhouse has slotted in well. Launched by Nilsen. Saunders will have to do it on his own if he can win it from Barness. Stuart, Saunders, Katchouro, Saunders again. Here's Bowen. Newton. Mendonca not giving up the chase, but it was always Kelly's ball.
Nigel Spackman down there having a pop at the ref. Calm down, Nigel. It's 4-0. What's up with you?
Here's Hutchison. Katchouro, Rufus in the way. Jones. Free kick against Don Hutchison. A reminder of the football still to come on Super Sunday at 4 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. It's Newcastle against Liverpool. Should be another cracker at St James's Park. You'd hardly call it a dress rehearsal for the Coca-Cola Cup quarter-final, but two great games, I'm sure, between those giants to come on Sky. Hit from Newton, blocked by Lee, cleared by Stuart. Clive Mendonka. Here's Parker. He's made room for Mendonca, but Lee, not much has got past him today.
Yeah, he's played well, Lee, hasn't he? It's not nice when you're not getting a regular game, you get a lone move. It takes a while to get used to your teammates and also the pace of Division 1, but he's played very well today.
David Lee grateful that Nigel Spatman remembered him from their days at Chelsea together. As Parker whips this corner in, and it's Taylor who gets in front of Kelly to clear. Sean Newton. Now can Mendonca control it?
Nothing going right for Clive. He's trying to get his body in there, but Woodhouse again strong.
Five minutes to go, Alan. Who are you going to make man of the match?
Well, it's not difficult, but Sheffield United have been excellent. I think Marker has been outstanding for United. Popped up with that goal, super play. There's one or two Taylor's battled away, but I think Deane Saunders, you have to go Saunders. I think first half, his movement made the first goal, then popped up with the second. So I would have to say Deane Saunders.
Really has been as bright as a button, Deane Saunders. Nilsen. And looking here for Taylor.
Another mention, I think you've got to give the little boy Woodhouse. What a day he's had, signing professional form, 17, outplayed Newton. He was very close to winning it. He's too young to drink, Rob.
Parker with a shot, saved by Kelly. There's Mendonca. Can he do it this time? The answer is no.
Wow, what a shame. What a shame for Clive Mendonca. He's getting the jeers and the boos, but just when I thought he's battled away, he's kept going. It's a good shot, a great stop from Kelly. This is class. I thought, yeah, go and knock it in. And nothing's going right today for Charlton. It's a great stop from Kelly with the right hand. Mendonca does everything right up till now, and that's casual. Still, there's more goals to come from him this season, I'm sure of that.
It would have been sweet for him to have scored at least on his return in the light of the margin of defeat. That probably just confirms what he assumed anyway, that the scoreline will be as it is at the moment. Saunders, Katchouro, Taylor, lovely tough. And there was Couturo again, blocked by Chapple.
It's lovely when you're 4-0 up at home, you can try all the fancy flicks. It's lovely, but it's tough if you're a Charlton player out there now. All you want is a referee's final whistle. 4-0 down, nothing's gone right, crossbar twice, found a good keeper in form in Kelly, and found this fella Saunders, so busy. Creates, always wants the ball to feet, he's a pest. Man of the match.
Enthusiasm belying his 33 years, player of great experience. Over 600 senior appearances now to the credit of Deane Saunders.
And the legs are still good, eh? Still good movement, works hard.
And he may still be around to threaten his former club Nottingham Forest's chances of automatic promotion if he continues to play in the vein of form that he's shown this afternoon. Scott Parker, still Charlton press for consolation. Bright goes for it, and they have got that consolation. Mark Bright's goal.
Well, ex-Wednesday player got the boos and jeers when they come on, and that's the perfect way to answer. It's a lovely run. What a good header. Kelly came for the ball nowhere, and that's a nice header. Charlton, to be fair to them, have kept banging away. It's a good delivery from Parker. Bright makes a run across the goal, gets there first, 4-1.
If it had happened a minute from the end of the first half, it might have had a bearing on the game. But a minute from the end of the second half, and here goes Newton.
Kelly's in trouble, just gone down there, saved at the left ankle. And Newton just stealing in at the far post. Kelly looks to be struggling a bit. I think he's fallen heavily. But it's a beautiful ball inside the full-back. Good touch. Nice strike, and the left foot saving Kelly, although perhaps maybe was going slightly wide.
He's going on to the end. He's there to make the header of Phil Chapple.
Yeah, you can see by his face he's struggling. I think it could be his back. Definitely took a heavy fall a few moments earlier.
Here's Hutchison. Katchouro. Woodhouse. He was pulled back initially by Newton, and then the foul of Parker.
Well, let's hope the ref's just going to give Parker a ticking off. I don't think it merits a yellow card. Woodhouse gets in a bit of trouble here. He's pulled back there from Newton. In comes Parker with a lunge. He doesn't really make contact. And unfortunately, youngster, he goes in the book.
Scott Parker's name is taken then.
A bit of teenage enthusiasm there. Come on, ref.
Saunders. Great turn again from Saunders. Here's Hutchison, and Sheffield United and Nigel Spackman ring out the old and seeing the new with an emphatic victory that continues their impressive home run. Gareth Taylor set them on their way with a goal after 7 minutes that was so splendidly added to. 2 goals in each half before Charlton's late response. Deane Saunders very much at the heart of the performance. Got the second goal, having been involved in the first. Brian Deane, the third member of the three-pronged attack, got the third before Nicky Marker then added the fourth. And Gareth Taylor handing his shirt into the crowd, and one wonders, with all the speculation about his future, if that's a farewell gesture to the Bramall Lane crowd. His name was chanted by those supporters throughout this performance. They clearly wonder if his future will be here, and certainly after the way he started this game and the full part that he played in it, they're hoping it is. But the way he's gesturing to them and applauding them, you really do wonder if his future may be elsewhere. The final score then here at Bramall Lane, a great end to 97 as Sheffield United beat Charlton 4-1.
Quick reminder of what's still to come on our 3 sports channels. Over on Sky Sports 1 at 4 o'clock, it's the big Premiership clash of the day, live from St James's Park, Newcastle versus Liverpool. And at 9 o'clock, it's this week's live NFL game as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Detroit Lions. It's cricket here tonight at 6. Highlights from the third day's play of the first test between Australia and South Africa. And over on Sky Sports 3 at 6:30, live basketball from the 9X Arena as the Manchester Giants take on the Greater London Leopards. And that is the sight all Spurs fans have been itching to see over Christmas. Jurgen Klinsmann back in business and ready, they hope, to shoot down the Gunners at White Hart Lane. We'll keep you up to date with his progress during the next hour. But after the break, we'll look back at the key moments from what proved to be an emphatic win for Sheffield United against one of their main promotion rivals. Reaction from the dressing rooms after the break. Very happy end to 1997 for Sheffield United. A 4-1 thrashing of fellow promotion rivals Charlton Athletic. But the match facts are interesting, aren't they, considering the end result? 14 attempts to 12 in Charlton's favour at goal, and they ended up with 5 on target. Sheffield United was 6, and Charlton won the corner count by 6-2. Couple of bookings in the second half. Phil Chapple and Scott Parker of Charlton. And the action areas make interesting reading. In the first half, it was all Sheffield United, and they edged the possession as well. But over the 90 minutes, the possession was neck and neck. And look at that, in the second half, Charlton pressed and pressed, and yet somehow they lost 4-1. We can now hear from the man of the match, Deane Saunders, and Brian Deane. They're talking with Alan Bentley.
Well, the first thing is, Brian, how are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. I got a knock on Friday, and I just got another knock on it again, dead leg. So just came off. It was stiffening up at the end.
Did you enjoy it out there? It seemed the three of you, Gareth Taylor included, seemed to enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, you know, we played with a lot of freedom, and you know, the system suited us today. You know, anything sort of like knock down the size of people in behind. You know, there's like myself and Dino and Tails. You know, so we'll cause most people problems.
And Deane, you seem to revel in that free roll.
Well, I wasn't supposed to be playing there today. We were supposed to play 3 up, but you know, the space was in the holes there, just at the side of the midfield. And you know, we got a lot of the ball early on, and you know, we could have won by more goals, really.
If I can ask you, you've played for Nottingham Forest and now Sheffield United. How do you weigh up the respective merits of the two sides?
Well, different styles. Forest are out-and-out football team, and I think Sheffield have got stronger players, you know, stronger, but you know, don't play as much football as Forest, but we'll win a lot of the games that you know, like Bury away in games like that, where you know we're going to be in for a tough game.
But can you catch Forest up now?
Well, I don't know how they got on today. I don't know. We don't know the result, but I know we're 5 points. We've got another 3 points, and if Steve Cram was running in the race now, he'd be where we were.
Well, anyway, we've dragged Brian out again, only to give the man of the match to someone else. Sorry about this, Brian. That's 3 times we've done it. Dino, you're the man of the match. Well done.
Thanks. Alan Brazil's my favourite commentator, by the way.
They all say that when they've got the champagne in their hands, but well done to Deane Saunders. Brian Horton has been my guest this afternoon. You predicted a 3-2 win. Well, you got the right number of goals and you got the right winners.
Yeah, I mean, it was a game, I think, that they won first half, without a doubt, and then second half, they've had a lot more of the ball. They've been a bit unfortunate, Charlton, because they've hit the bar twice, and Kelly's made a couple of good saves, so, yeah, well, I got the right number of goals anyway.
And interesting to hear Deane Saunders saying that he was meant to be playing as part of a 3 up front, but he was finding those spaces elsewhere, and he showed his intelligence and his experience to manoeuvre himself into the key positions.
Well, Brian Deane said that, you know, 3 strikers and a lot of movement, and they're playing with a lot of freedom, and I think the 3 up front can give you that, and Saunders can flit anywhere. He used to play as a wide man when he was younger, so I think it suits the 3 of them. They're 2 big target men that gave problems all day, and it certainly suited them today, 3 forwards.
Well, it took them only 7 minutes to go in front. Remember, Charlton hadn't won at Bramall Lane for 40 years, and when this one went in, they must have thought, oh no, here we go again. Lovely build-up though, Brian.
It was a good build-up, and said the wing-backs getting forward, but it's a great turn by Saunders. And Taylor, I think any striker likes those 5-6 yards out, nobody in the net, but it's a well-worked goal.
Hutchison with that pass, and he, do you think, justified his position back in the side at the expense of Graham Stuart?
Certainly. I'm surprised that Deane Saunders is saying that, you know, that Forest play a little bit more football, because Hutchison and Ford are both 2 very good footballers in midfield. I think what they've got there is the ability, if they want to go to be direct and hit Deane and Taylor, they can do, but I think they've certainly got 2 good footballers in Hutchison and Ford.
We saw Taylor throw his shirt into the crowd at the end. Do you think that was his farewell performance?
Yeah, well, as you know, I tried to buy him when I was at Huddersfield, and he fell a medical situation with not a major thing, but by looking at that, it looks like that he's on his way.
Well, Charlton might have equalised not long after going a goal down. Leaburn with this chance from the free kick.
He's very unfortunate, as we said. He's just overstretching as he hits the volley. And it was a story there. They've hit the bar at 2-0 as well. You know, if that goes in, it's a different game. But certainly I think Alan Kirbishley would have jeered them up at half-time. He wouldn't have been happy with their first-time performance.
Well, we'll look at the rest of the highlights in a moment, but waiting to speak to us now is Nigel Spackman, the Sheffield United manager, is talking to Alan Bentley.
Nigel, before the game I seem to detect a hint of trepidation given your inconsistency in Charlton's form, but you must be delighted now.
Anybody's delighted with 3 points, and we've got that today, which is the main thing. We've obviously struggled recently with the injury problems we've had, but I think those lads who went out on the field today and the subs who came on did everybody credit here at the club, and we've got to now try and get some of the players back fit and keep pushing up the league. But it was a big game for us today. I mean, Charlton I think have gone something like 7 games, I think, undefeated. Ourselves, we've been doing well at home but not so well away. We've been drawing too many games, but we've been scraping out results, and it was nice today to score 4 goals. But there could have been more in it, and there could have been, you know, for us and for them. But we're just pleased to get the 3 points at the end of the time.
Crucially, though, can you get the away form together now?
Well, I mean, you hope so. I mean, you've got to win your home games and hope that you can nick things away from home. But we're not winning enough games away from home at the moment. Some of that is down to obviously changing formations and people being injured. But as a manager, you can't make excuses like that. You've just got to get on with it and pick the best team to go out there and try and win a football match. That's what we've done today against Charlton. And at times I thought we played some very good football today. At other times we looked very vulnerable.
Now, we spoke before the game about Jan Arge Fjortoft. Gareth Taylor at the end threw his shirt into the crowd. There was talk of a Utrecht delegation here. What's his situation?
Well, the situation is, for me, is as a manager, I'm just picking out of all the players I've got here. I'm trying to pick the best team I can, and if that means playing Gareth Taylor or it means playing Jan Arge, I'll pick them. For different games, I'll pick different people. But I think the speculation happens when players aren't in the team, like Jan. Speculation has started about him now. It's happened with Gareth. I'm just a manager picking the team. The financial side of the game is not down to me here at Bramall Lane. It's up to the chairman and the board of directors. And if they feel they can sell people for good money, so it gives me more money to spend on other players, then that's down to them. But I don't want anybody to leave here. I've said that before, but obviously with the pressure from the board, you can't keep everyone. And unfortunately, if we've got 12 players who are out injured at the moment, it's a bit difficult for me. I'm having to take people on loan like David Lee. But I'm just getting on with it, and the speculation will be in the papers, on the television. But for me, I'd rather keep everybody and add to my squad. But that's not always the way. If the financial backup isn't there, then I've just got to get on with what I've got. And if they feel that they're getting good money for a player, then the club's got to look at that. And I think that would happen at any club in the country.
So in a nutshell, from your point of view, will he stay or will he go?
Well, I hope he stays, but you know, that's not down to me at the end of the day. We're a PLC now. People who at PLCs, they know that you know, it's a different football match at the moment. You know, it's not just down to managers; it's down to the board and the finances and the shareholders. And I'm just trying to do the job to the best of my ability with the people I've got. And that's the way football should be, I suppose. But I'd obviously like to strengthen my squad. But if that means people going, then that's not down to me.
Thanks a lot, Nigel.
Thank you.
Not sure quite what to make of that rather long answer. There's 2 rather long answers. It does sound as though Gareth Taylor could go on his way, Brian, doesn't
Well, he didn't really answer the question, no. And from my point of view, with me being given permission to speak to him when I was at Huddersfield, it looks like they probably would take a certain amount of money for him.
Watch this space. 2 players who aren't going to be going in a hurry, surely, are Deane Saunders and Brian Deane, and they combined to put United 2 up.
Yes, again, getting the wing back forward, and it was a brave tackle for him to go in there. And Brian Deane swiveled on one, and Deane Saunders again, a goal scorer's goal, really. But I think Bowen will be disappointed when he sees it, and again himself there, that he should have been able to block that cross. But that put them 2-0 up and coasting to victory, really.
Deane Saunders' 2nd goal for the club, and it capped off a great afternoon for him, didn't it?
Well, he's a bounce little player. You can see that in the interview. He's lively.
Charlton had a few chances before half-time, but right on the stroke of half-time, they could have gone 3 down. Alan Brazil was convinced this should have been a penalty, and I think you agree with him.
Well, certainly at home, I think those are the penalties that you get. But as I say, the referee was right behind it, and I think he thinks that the keeper might have just tried to stop. He has made contact. The ball has gone away from goal as well, so, you know, give it the benefit of the doubt to the referee.
Curtis Woodhouse, 17 years of age, signed pro forms today, I think, and did himself proud, didn't he?
Fantastic. I mean, for a YTS boy to go in there, make his debut, sign pro on the same day, win 4-1, get the win bonus, what a great day for him.
One or two Charlton fans working on this programme. At half-time they still had hopes, and early in the second half they were almost back in it. Kinsella's shot onto the woodwork.
Well, the stats have shown that they've had a lot of attempts today, and that's a great attempt. He strikes a great ball, Kinsella, and if that goes in, that makes it 2-1, a different game.
But it wasn't to be. Now, Vasilis Borbokis has been a star performer since the start of the season. We saw him against Sunderland on the opening day, and he delivers a perfect ball into the area, doesn't he?
Well, if I get his name right, he's a very, very good player. I'm not going to say his name there, but it's a great cross, and Taylor's climbing all over the back.
Do you think that should have been a foul? Taylor all over the defender?
Oh, you see them given sometimes, and again not. So I mean, it's a great knockback from Taylor, and that's the problems that Taylor and Deane have caused to Charlton all day in the air, and they're both good target men, both of them. It's come back off the post. Keeper's given up, as Alan said, and Deane's got a nice little tap in for his goal.
Bit of a nightmare for the keeper, who simply doesn't have time to react at all.
Well, he doesn't know. It's going to cross the line. He thinks it's going to go in the net. But credit to Deane, is there on the spot again.
Charlton kept firing away, didn't they? We spoke about Clive Mendonka before the game, playing against his old side and perhaps wanting to prove a little bit more. Wasn't his afternoon, though.
No, it wasn't his day today, but they're a good side, Charlton, and they'll bounce back. And as the stats have shown, they haven't gone up there, and 4-1 defeat is a little bit harsh, I think, on them. Although, as I said before, I think the first half killed them.
Well, Mendonca gets a chance when John Robinson has a very fierce shot, well saved by Alan Keeper in the side ahead of Tracy. I know you rate Kelly, but Mendonca just couldn't get the rebound.
No, it didn't really go for them today, and it's again another good save from Kelly. I rate Kelly very highly. They've got two good keepers there, and I think that's strength in depth for Sheffield United today, that they've made so many changes and still got a very good looking side out there.
Well, it was to get worse for Charlton. Nicky Marker scored in United's 2-1 defeat at the Valley earlier this season, and there, Marker unmarked from the free kick, 4-0, game, set and match.
Well, they've got so many big people piling forward there as well. You know, they're a handful for any set piece forward, and Nicky Marker's just come around the back of the defence. But it's a great ball in, just whipped away from the keeper. Keeper can't go for that, and it's a classic header.
But Alan Kirbishley will be asking his defenders what went on there, won't he?
Well, there's obviously somebody marking him. One of the strikers, I presume, has gone back with Marker.
One moment of consolation near the end when Mark Bright came on. They brought on a couple of subs. Young Scott Parker as well got himself physically involved right from the word go, didn't he, and made a bit of an impact.
I was impressed with him. He was good on the ball. A bit unfortunate to get booked last minute, but he crossed the ball in for the corner. Looks to have good ability. And Mark Bright's an experienced player anyway. They've got some strikers. They've loaned Jones out. They've loaned Emblem out. They've got some good strikers on the books. The keeper looks like he's just slightly impeded there by Mendonca, but sometimes that's why we put players on the line with the keeper, and he's just stopped him coming. He gets caught in no man's land, Kelly.
What did Charlton do at this stage? They won 4 on the trot, but their away form has been a little problematic. Will confidence be severely affected by such a heavy defeat, or can a side pick itself up quickly as a rule?
No, I think they're good enough to pick themselves up, but it's like Nigel Spatman's just said, their away form is not good enough. So most sides are capable of winning at home, and I think it's whoever strings away results together is going to make the top 2 places.
To take stock of the situation, and he's now talking to Alan Bentley.
Alan, we spoke before the game about how defensively you'd improved. What was your view on it out there today?
Well, certainly that's where we let ourselves down. I think that they've scored 4 goals, all in the 6-yard box. 3 of them rebounds or secondary balls, and we just wasn't at the races in that situation. And it's hard to analyse a game, because if you look at it, we've had more possession, probably more chances, probably more attacking play. But at the end of the day, when you come to a top of the table clash like this, you've got to defend better than that, and we didn't defend well enough.
So what were the positive aspects of today?
Can't think of one really. I think that we know that we can score goals, and we know that we're a good attacking side when we get going, but certainly I had 5 or 6 players out there today left wanting, and that's the disappointing thing, because it's a top of the table clash and you expect it to be hard and tough and a nitty-gritty game. Didn't turn out that way, because when the balls went into the 6-yard box, which is the nitty-gritty area if you like, we was left wanting.
Now I understand that you chose a different away strip, an old away strip, because your other one wasn't bringing you too much luck. You're going to have to get another one now.
It's not luck, is it? It's not strip. Unfortunately for us is that when we've played ever so well away from home, we've perhaps picked up draws and not picked up the win, and when we've played poorly we've been beat, and hopefully in the second half of the season that will turn around. You know, take nothing away from Sheffield. I think they rode their luck Stoke at the weekend and picked a point up, and they thoroughly deserved their win today, because they got the ball in the right areas and wanted it more than us.
And just changing tack for a moment, here you are just after Christmas and you've been sent to Sheffield. Is it fair on you and the fans, do you feel?
I think they can do a little bit better, the Football League. I think that, you know, we've got a handful of fans here today. I don't think it's because the TV have been here. You know, it's Christmas and I can't see how they can't juggle up so far. Certainly, you play a game on a Saturday, then the next thing you've got to do is get on a coach for 4.5 hours. Perhaps we could have gone. I don't think. I think you know, so you've got to start looking at that. It's quite ridiculous. I think that's not the reason we've been beat today. We've been